So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first official AMA by Standard Protocol for the African community, and it's a pleasure for me to welcome Marsh and Tony. So Marsh, please introduce yourself. Tony, you introduce yourself as well. So my name is Lucky and Owakwe, and I'm the founder of Sabia Exchange, and I'm popularly called the king of DeFi in Africa.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, bro. So I'll introduce myself first. My name is March. I am the Global Communications Director for Standard. It's my job to engage our wonderful communities and KOLs worldwide to, spread the Standard word. Yep, that's my role. Tony?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, nice to meet you all, our African fans and friends. So my name is Tony, and I will be the head of China in Standard Protocol. And also I will be managing all the operation and marketing side in Standard Protocol. So as in the last 5 years, I think I'll be all in blockchain and crypto area. I bought Bitcoin 5 years ago. Yeah, like it's 2016 when it's only $400. I can still remember the day. So yeah, I'm very glad to be invited here. Thank you, Mr. Lucky. And I can share also my insight about our Standard Protocol and also about the whole blockchain DeFi area and what's going on. Yeah, thanks.
Nice. Oh, I also want to first apologize. Originally, our founder, Colin, was supposed to be on, but as you guys may know, our IDO is tomorrow on PokerStarter, so he is absolutely just overwhelmed with technical inquiries. We want to make sure it's a successful launch, but, we're happy that Tony and I are here and we can really do this today. And Colin apologizes, by the way. So.
All right, that's fine, quite understandable. Of course, to all our audience across the continent, especially within the East African region, for this particular AMA, you need to know that tomorrow is the IDO for Standard Protocol. And of course, that explains why the founder of Standard Protocol is actually unavoidably absent. Originally, he's meant to be here, but some more and more work. In fact, I don't think we will be sleeping within the Standard Protocol for the next 24 hours. So the next 48 hours will be like all awake. So now, coming to the root of the conversation. Standard Protocol. What is really Standard Protocol? My people in Africa would really like to know, what's this thing that is making the buzz on poker started? What is this thing that people are talking about within the Polkadot blockchain? So I would like you to go first. Marsh, what is Standard Protocol?
I'll answer this. So to put it very simply, Standard is essentially, it's a 3-token module system. So to be clear, when we're doing the IDO tomorrow, even though our ecosystem has 3 tokens, the first token that's going to be available at market is our Standard governance token. This token will traditionally represent, ownership rights to our company and all kinds of governance metrics that can be eventually used within the Standard ecosystem. As mentioned, Standard, is supposed to be facilitating eventually with the Polkadot community. That's why we were the first Korean project to receive the Web 3.0 grant. But of course, right now, the main focus is all about all about getting the liquidity and users and community on board. And the best way to facilitate that is still through an ERC20 standard, on top of Ethereum to do on Uniswap tomorrow for the IDO. That is to clarify at a very ground level of what really that token is. I guess I could go into details about what we're envisioning within the DeFi spectrum.
Yes, of course, I would like that.
Mm-hmm. So really, the DeFi part that makes our token unique is meter and leader. So basically, as Standard continues to develop, as the token itself matures, that means the entire ecosystem will mature. And then our team will release the meter and leader tokens. There's already a roadmap for that, which I'll share later in the chats. But essentially, we aim to do that a month or two after our IDO and initial exchange listing of the governance token. So meter and leader work very similar to how you could see MakerDAO and DAI. Everyone probably knows how Maker is actually the world's first DeFi project. Some of you guys might know this, right? And what the first thing they solved was to be able to mint $1 UST peg like stablecoin, right? Obviously USTT, USTC, even though USTC is quite legal, people still are like, what is it really backed by other than just someone's word, audit, etc. But DAI really was the first creation of a total 150% collateral coin. So we do want to import that mechanism from Liter and Meter, right? Meter will be our minted coin. And then Liter is the governance. It's like in parallel with our standard governance token to help mint that through 150% collateral.
Interesting.
So that is it at base of the three tokens, standard, Meter, Liter.
Okay, so actually when I was going through the white paper of standard protocol, I just simply deduced this acronym MLS, like Major League Soccer, but of course it's M is for meter, L is for liter, S is for standard.
Yeah, Major League Soccer, there you go. That's US.
So that makes it quite a bit easy. So it means for the average person out there who wants to understand the three token system, that the M token will be more like the stable coin. The L token will be more like a token people can stake.
To mint the
right.
meter. Yes.
Oh, right. Correct. So you can use the L to use to mint the meter. Why the standard token itself? It's the one that will be generally powering the entire ecosystem. And that
absolutely. Same way you see Compound, Avi, right? They have that base token which represents governance and like LPing potential. Right, to provide liquidity into other systems, because we want to integrate with many other layer ones. Obviously, we're going to have to start with the Polkadot ecosystem because that's why we received the Web 3.0 grant. But essentially, that will serve as a form of a parachain on top of Polkadot.
Okay. Yeah. So Tony, to you, why standard protocol? You know, why would anybody care about wanting to participate or use standard protocol in the first place? I know Marsh have given us some insight.
Okay, so I mean, it's like to summarize the core advantage of a standard protocol, I think we can not only treat it as a sincere stablecoin, but a whole ecosystem. Like first, our first module is for Oracle and token module for stablecoin, but afterwards we will also put forward the AMM DEX, which is a decentralized exchange. Why we use that? Maybe I can introduce afterwards, or Marsh can introduce afterwards about our functions. Like we integrate these several modules into one ecosystem and let them link with each other. And we can do the things that like the formal crypto projects did bad. Like for example, just like we do lots of innovation based on the formal projects, these like bad experiments, I think. Like MakerDAO, I think there's two problems. First, it's like they have the collateral ratio, but they do not have the algorithm to kick in to adjust if some emergencies happen. So we use the algorithm and also the collateral to adjust the whole things. Not only the community to decide everything, but of course, normal side, community can decide what the collateral ratio is. But when emergency happens, we use the algorithm to do it automatically. So that's the first. And second, you know, for MakerDAO, I think it's a disaster. I can still remember 1 year ago when, you know, the day the Bitcoin got 50% dump on, right? 1 year and 1 month ago. And all of the, you know, MakerDAO's collateral is liquidated. But it needs 3 days for the community members to vote and buy the collateral, which is very, very inefficient. And we do innovation on that. Like we use the AMSX to directly let the people buy these collateral with a discount and can redeem back the stable coin. So that is basically what we would do, the innovation things and lots of things. So I think we are the whole ecosystem and help the projects to become better.
Interesting. Okay, so like for those of us who are actually still joining the program, we need to know that stablecoin actually, as we know them, are not as stable as they are meant to be. And one thing Standard Protocol have been able to achieve is that putting some other kind of mechanism in place to ensure much more ideal or proper stability. Tony was talking something around MakerDAO before now, and for those of us who actually did know what MakerDAO were doing a bit, there was always these issues or challenge around price instability, challenges around oracles, getting probably the right fit. So how is Standard Protocol able to mitigate this general problem that affects so many of the stable coin that is currently out there? Of course, the DAI is there, USDT and the likes of them. So how is stablecoin Standard Protocol able to mitigate this particular challenge?
March.
Yeah, we think it can mitigate this challenge. So you're basically emphasizing, however, in ways that Maker failed in that peg, then how we Standard will do it differently, right? Is that kind of in essence the question answer, or?
Okay, I know there is something around where if people are kind of forced, people can be forced liquidated depending on their kind of position. And now Standard Protocol want to collateralize, right?
Yes.
There's a mechanism of collateralization and synthetic. So how do you guys balance all of this at the same time? Like I'm trying to wrap my head around the single token system and the triple token system, which you guys have at the end of the day. How are you guys able to balance all this out? What is this thing that is really making it possible for you guys to achieve these three token systems?
I think on my end, I could probably best answer this from a liquidity standpoint, right? So what you saw with Gen 1 algo coins like ESD and Ampliford, right? They were able to achieve their peg by rebase, but that rebase fails, and basically all of them did fail, right? The peg is entirely broken. So when we were first crafting our narrative of this stablecoin part of us Meter, right? We're saying, why don't we use, elements of Maker to basically under 50% collateralize it? So in case, the peg is broken, gets there to 1 USD. And essentially the key to that is you still need ample liquidity for that to happen. I cannot comment too much technically on what the IQR rule and how we managed to make a decentralized Oracle to facilitate that and reward the Oracle. Obviously, I wish Con was here to technically explain that. But what I do say is that from a BD standpoint, one part of this is we need to make sure that we get ample liquidity from both the communities, the KOLs, and of course, all the exchange listings we have in line once, right, our IDO happens. Because you also would want the exchange not only just to list you with their market makers, but also to participate in your ecosystem as well. And when you have more liquidity on that front, you're able to protect that peg better, especially if there's more collateral into it. I think that would be the best.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, that's quite novel compared to what I knew before now. So again, when I went through the white papers of what is of Standard Protocol, I saw something around block reward, something around 8:2 for people. My question will now be, for the block reward to Oracle providers, of 8:2 between validators and providers, how can one be a validator and how can one be a provider, especially for the people within the African community?
Yeah, based on my understanding, so that's why we have the 3 token ecosystem. So as of now, we're still trying to figure out ways to see which tokens can be facilitated for that use case as a validator. We've already decided that Leader, right, needs to be the minted token, or it needs to be the token that collateralizes to mint Meter. We already have decided that Standard is going to be our initial governance token. Based on initial design, it seems to me that we'll probably build more use cases into the Standard token to help become like validator liquidity, to do LPing, all that kind of stuff. I mean, a good example would be, well, this token is not as strong as it used to be, but like NEO, right? Like actually NEO was the first one to basically envision the 2 token system. There's this part of NEO called gas. And that's like how they envisioned that to like do a bunch of all that, but never really turned out to be really anything. But it was like the first to do it. But NEO was always supposed to be that governance token that did that. But we want to be better than that model. But that's just kind of for you guys to get a reference of what that kind of looks like. Because Ethereum Gwei is not really a tradable asset. It's just ETH itself, right? But NEO, they would be like one of the first to have that 2 tokens on the open market. But we'll have to decide more on what that design is going to look like.
Oh,
So and
interesting.
yeah, and so like yeah, and I think I have something from the technical side to add on, like for your question. I think
Okay.
your question is for the Oracle provider and validator. So these two kind of representative for Oracle provider is wholly decentralized, and
Yeah.
anyone could join in. Anyone like I think it's very simple. Like if they stake like 100 standard token or even 1,000 standard token, they can be the Oracle provider. So that is the thing. Like everyone can be it. So it should be an algorithm to pick up randomly from the Oracle provider, from the maybe 5 from the 1,000 people to really fit the price into the Oracle. That is the thing. And for validator who gain the 8.2, so which is 80% of the reward to the validator, they need to stake a lot of governance token standard, which can prove their identity and their sincerity to be involved into the system. And also, I think that Mr. Kang, our founder, have the discussion with me. Like he's saying it's better to release their real world identity for those validators to show like, okay, everyone, I'm here, I'm the validator. So if I do something wrong, you can just get fault on me and you can just accuse me on anything. That is the thing that validator is more stronger, more fair, and like very rare. I think 5 or 10.
Okay. So what it means? Okay. So what it means is that if Africans want to become validators, they need to hold some substantial amount of standard token and put it into the entire ecosystem where they become part of those who would validate every transactions ongoing within the standard protocol. And in return, they are given a block reward of 80% of each block reward. Am I correct?
Yeah. Oh. Yes. Let me talk on this. So guys, my name is Billy. I'm from Standard Protocol. I'm a lead developer on this. So the Oracle system, if you want to become an Oracle provider, you first have to reveal your identity. So we don't want an anonymous person to be the validator nor provider and provide false information, right? So what we do is in order to become a provider, you first have to reveal your identity in the real world, and then you would have to provide a set of documents. And then next to that will be, you will have to stake, but this voting process is based on a voting algorithm called Fragment's algorithm. And this is what Polkadot uses to vote their providers, validators. So this algorithm has been proven to work. So we use the same algorithm and the community can vote. So when the community members, when the governance people stake their standard governance token, they'll be given voting rights. So the community gets to vote on the provider. So people who want to be provider, they reveal their identity and they can stake themselves standard governance token. But at the same time, the community will vote on them. And the Fragment's algorithm, which is used by Polkadot to determine its validators, will run and select providers.
Oh,
so
perfect.
That's how it works.
Interesting one, Billy. And
thanks,
welcome,
Billy.
Welcome into the show. I actually didn't see your message. I know you were trying to buzz me in the group as well. I didn't see that, but welcome. Okay, so I think Billy also have been able to throw more light to that extent. So to my African people, like, I don't know if some of us were actually early at a time when POS, as proof of stake, was becoming a thing within the blockchain community. For those who actually key into the proof of stake kind of model at the earliest of time, I think it was like almost what we call residual or passive income. I don't know what's the right word to put it now. It means like getting in the token at the earliest of time when it's still quite lower on the lower side, staking it. But this time, you won't be staking as an anonymous person. We need to know who you are. You need to prove your identity so that if you become a bad actor later, well, we'll now know, okay, it is lucky that I was the bad guy within the group and therefore we can easily fish him out and all those kind of stuff. I think this for me even brings more level of transparency to the entire ecosystem. And I would really look forward to where some other African persons either within this group or later on outside this call would also become one of the earliest validators. And I would really use the opportunity to also talk to my African people. You can form some sort of forum together where somebody can become validators on your behalf. That would really be massive. when I begin to see more African people participate in newer projects and being validators themselves, not just only from the other part of the globe, which is quite interesting. Okay, so thanks again to Marsh, Tony, and Billy. So for the rest of us that have been listening so far for the past 27 minutes, this is an AMA being organized by Standard Protocol. And it's the first AMA within the African community trying to explain to us what Standard Protocol is all about. Now, for those of you who are also still new within the blockchain space, DeFi or decentralized finance is becoming the way to go in terms of the future trend. Not just the future trend, I think DeFi has come to stay and it's already here. So what we now begin to see, what we call some sort of layer 2, layer 3 kind of development. We've gone from the era where blockchain is just about Bitcoin to seeing other beautiful projects out there now. And Standard Protocol is one of them. I think we are now opportune to come into that part of the history where we're seeing a 3-token system coming out for the very first time. We here currently attending this particular meetup. We might later come to realize or even understand far more better when 3-token system become the model or the mantra for the entire ecosystem. I'm seeing a lot of other blockchain projects now. Everybody's just jumping into the DeFi craze or the DeFi buzz here and there. So I wouldn't be surprised when everybody begins to say, hey, Standard Protocol have set the pace. Let's follow the 3-token system. And Standard Protocol have set the pace. Let's begin to make validators a known entity, not just some anonymous individual hiding behind the curtains and doing some shady things out there. So we want to really know who the validators are and the identity. So for me, I think this is a game changer compared to what we know before now in the industry. Of course, we know the likes of Neo did a little bit of that, but then not to this level or to this point. So if you're just joining us, this is Standard Protocol, and tomorrow being 29th will be their IDO. In fact, Standard Protocol had this level of pedigree that everybody within the industry is now talking about Standard Protocol. And I believe tomorrow's IDO will be a success. Now, if you're here and you probably are not opportunity to how the IDO will work, I'm using this opportunity again to say, initially when we were having a test with Marsh, Tony, Dave, and Michi, we're talking about everybody in the whole world had the chance of getting to know what Standard Protocol is before today. Some, or a lot of other parts of the globe were more informed a bit. Though weren't as informed, of course, there's some other Africans who followed you guys in your group. I have some other friends who already, they knew about Standard Protocol even before now, and some of them did whitelisting, but they weren't opportune. So my own is, I know already Standard Protocol will be like a game changer. That's even the reason why I'm part of Standard Protocol as it stands today. I already know that Standard Protocol will become of value to the people of the world, not just even from one particular continent or the other. I'm saying, how can my people in Africa get a chance to partake in this IDO? We didn't get this information early enough, I must tell you. So I don't know, Billy, Tony, Marsh, who can help us answer this? No matter how little. For me, I just want us to have this level playing field with other parts of the world where we can at least participate in it. I know PokerStarter have already done their listing, white listing already. I know that. Can the team do something for the African community? I really love it. I know we'll get our free token later on. Some people will be lucky, and I hope maybe those ones who are lucky might begin to stake or put that as part of the validator in the entire ecosystem. But of course, after that, then I'll go into questions from people, and probably some lucky persons will win. Dave, hope you're ready. So to Marsh, to Lynn, to Billy, how can Africans participate in this IDO? We know we've lost it in terms of when the whitelisting was done. Can we have any chance?
Tony.
Yeah. So first, let me answer the question. First, congratulations for all the audience. I think you guys at least have the chance to win the lottery. I think Mr. Lucky and I have prepared several of these seats and tickets for you guys. If we pick up some of the questions and we answer to you, congratulations. We will get some standard airdrop. Yeah, that's the first thing. Oh, nice. And basically, like in a common way, like if the African guys can participate in the Standard Protocol, so please know that we are in long term. So after our product release, we will like give several kinds of this activity. Maybe if the first taking guy, you will get some bonus or something, and first validator, you will get some reward. I think definitely we'll put forward that, and please pay attention to that, and please keep pace with us and to see like what happened, and we will definitely reward you. That's the first. And second, I think IDO is only our first step, first shot, and I think everyone will be trying tomorrow. Indeed, we have got like 150x oversubscribed for the whitelist application. So definitely I think our price will go to the moon, but you guys will see, we will still moving step by step. And of course, you know, for the staking part, I think afterwards, like for the yield farming, I think it's quite simple, maybe for you guys if you're expert in DeFi area, and you will see like we will give you a very good this kind of interest rate with a 3 token module. Yeah, 3 token module, and you can participate in them too. So that's my answer. And of course, Mr. Lucky, afterwards we will coordinate with you and your followers deeply into Africa. Let's just see like if we can give our fans base more reward based on the Africa ecosystem and even some blockchain activity or something, and even some like we can integrate into the real world in the Africa Bank or something. Yeah, and yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, I think there is still hope for us within the African within the African continent, yeah, that will not miss out on this beautiful train, because like a lot of persons try to reach out and they really want to be part of it. And I think to this extent, what I would be asked, or what I would really ask or want, is maybe we'll set up some sort of an African community for Standard Protocol on Telegram. Maybe I think I would utilize this opportunity. I would just create one, and then we'll start from there, where every piece of information or every vital thing around development of Standard Protocol, because I actually want to see the long-term play for Standard Protocol within the continent of Africa. So it doesn't matter for me who will lead that race, but mine is I want to see the real value here on ground. Like, let the people of Africa see value for this. I don't want where people just come take advantage of the number and we don't see value at the end of the day. So maybe with that, I will create a community for Standard Protocol for the African space. And from there, yeah, any vital information or thing people need to do, they will be able to participate. And I hope actually everybody that is here, they would also later reach out through the database. And those of them that are interested, of course, I think everybody will, they will become part of it. So to that extent, it's really a good one. And I think since the IDO is not just the only opportunity out there, there are other kind of opportunities which we'll have. So to this point, I would come to the part of where the audience have been yearning to ask you guys questions. And I'm seeing a lot of questions, but due to time, I might not want to overshoot this. So the questions have been popping in like virtually since the beginning of the program. And I would really want to give that chance to pick some questions. Sincerely, I know a lot of persons here would really love that all their questions be answered, but I believe with the Telegram communities, even some of the questions that are not answered, that might not be answered here, picked here today, but still be attended to within the Telegram community after now. So I will be taking a bit of scroll backwards from the beginning of the program to pick some questions, and just it's going to be random. Sincerely, it's just 10 lucky questions that will be able to get the win from here. But apart from that, please take note, by 4 p.m. Nigerian time today, we'll be having a second round of it. So those of you who felt that, of course, I know it's not, I know actually it's not for Marsh, because Marsh won't be available.
I will be back in Nigeria.
Oh, nice.
I'll be there.
Okay, so to all the audience that are here, and if you felt that your questions were not picked, there'll be a second round of the entire AMA, holding from the Nigerian perspective or the West African community perspective. That will be 4 p.m. Nigerian time, which I think will be about 6 p.m. The Eastern time zone, or for the East Africa, where you're from, Kenya or Tanzania, as the case may be. So in case you missed that, please tune in. The link will be shared in Standard Protocol Telegram group. I'll put that up on my Twitter handle at LUO2027. I'll put that link up as well. That will be televised on Crypto Television Plus. So if you follow Crypto Television Plus handle, that's same. So, and I really encourage each and every one of you to try and follow Bitcoin KE. He has really been doing great work within the East African community. So it's like one of the go-to places for us to read news around it. So you try and follow them up on, whether on Twitter, try and follow them up on the various Telegram community that they have. So thanks again, big shout out to Bitcoin KE. And as well to Matsu, who's also here. I can't really thank you guys enough. So I would scroll up, pick your questions and then ask them. So Billy, Marsh, Tony, are you guys ready for the questions from the African community directly?
We are ready, baby.
Okay, good. So now, David, if you can unmute yourself. So David is the head of Bitcoin KE. So I'll give him the opportunity to also pick some 3 lucky questions and then ask that question back to you guys. And these 3 questions that we picked by David automatically would win $100 each. So the 3 questions automatically get the chance of getting $300 in standard token. And I said, hope you don't sell them, hope you keep them, because you might do 5, 10x from here. All right, David.
No, 50x. 50x.
Oh, 50x. Oh, nice. That would be crazy. 50x is like 100 multiplied by 50. That's like $50,000 if you keep them. All right. So nice, David.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, thanks, guys, Mash, Tony, and Lucky for making this happen. I think my question would be, I think I've seen a few people actually ask this question. It's around, do you mind explaining again how the rebase mechanism works? I think a lot of us would like to understand. I don't know if Mash or Tony can take that.
Okay, and before Mash and Tony take that, so David, you please try and note the person that asked that particular question, either, so that we don't have a mix of names as well. So The rebase mechanism is one important thing African people want to know. How does it work? And I guess the person who asked that question is already a lucky winner, $100 equivalence in standard token. So who go first? Marsh, Tony,
I'll try to answer this. Rebase mechanism is actually it's the mechanism where the parameter of a system is adjusted to a period. So how that works, which means, like, let's just say ESD or Ampleport, they were pegged to $1, right? Like the supply based on its supply and demand, right? Let's just say there was more demand for the token at one point. That means in theory, the token's price should go up, but the rebase mechanism will bring it back down to its peg. We believe that one of the major failures for rebase mechanisms was the fact that in the end, the algos just could not control the supply-demand like equilibrium. And that's why we at Standard are trying to solve another iteration of that. So that is ultimately what the rebase is a form of equilibrium to get a parameter to whatever the value is pegged to. Otherwise, it's like, right, like where does this $1 value come from? Just, it has to come from some form of supply and demand. That's probably the best way, in my opinion, of explaining it.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I think that's pretty answered the rebase questions for the person that asked it. And congratulations to the lucky individual who have already just won $100. So David, you already know, though I would really like you to also call the name of the person out a bit. Dave, are you ready for the next question? So we know the lucky person as well.
Yeah, so I'm just scrolling through. There are so many questions.
Thank you, guys. We love all your interests.
Okay, so while you're scrolling through, I think I also have some individual who asked a question around hack. Okay, so somebody was asking a question around hack because there are a lot of leakages. Is it something Ogunle or something? Yeah, Ogunle asked the question. Ogunle Oluwase asked the question. How do we ensure? Of course, there's always this case around hack ongoing currently in most DeFi and all this.
I will answer this. Yes. Okay. So I want to make something clear. Something like MakerDAO has actually never been hacked. The only problem was kind of its own form of rebase, right? Which is the collateral, and that's when it broke its peg. So that's not a hack. Most hacks that you see in DeFi are actually because of flash loans, where you can borrow immediately from one protocol to the next, and then that can drain the liquidity from the protocol that you're actually originating from. So 90% of hacks you see in DeFi are from this concept alone, which are flash loans. Standard, right? We are not. That's why we want to build a 3-token module system, is because we want to leverage liquidity and power within our own ecosystem to protect our users. So that's how we would explain from a technical standpoint. For example, let's just say you would try to borrow from YFI or Avi using the token, but then let's just say you implemented a flash loan, and then that's like lent out to Uniswap or something, or another yield somewhere else. Then that is where the attacker can really attack all that, middle ground that you see. But if you keep it close, kind of like what you see with Maker, and you can protect that collateral and rebase, then from a technical standpoint, we think we can manage any kind of hacks within internally the system. Now, of course, right, technically that might sound great, and you never know, but we are going to be absolutely having security contracts or smart contract audits that will be rolled out in the weeks after exchange listing. Like I said, the system will not be fully implemented right at IDO, but we're going to be prepared the groundwork to make sure it's safe for all UX users, validators, all of that. And of course, we're going to always have a full team, right? Tech team to be monitoring the situation. That is the key to DeFi, because we know how easy it is to lose trust. So that's the point I want to iterate, is protection within our own internal system, and why these hacks in DeFi even originate. That's because of flash loans.
Oh, nice. So David, I'll allow you to pick the third question for the day.
Yeah, so I just want to mention the first question was by Clifford Omino.
Yes.
So Clifford, Clifford
Okay.
$100. So I think the other question is there's someone who's asking, what are Standard Protocol team plans to educate and raise awareness and promote adoption among the community?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, as Tony was mentioning, right, technically speaking, and Billy was saying too, right, Billy's one of our lead developers at Standard, is we will be rewarding, right, our Oracle, decentralized Oracle providers and like LP providers. And one thing he mentioned is we got to know your identity, right? We want real partners with real skin incentivized within the ecosystem. That's number one. Number two is, you guys might not know this, but we're engaging over 50 plus KOLs worldwide. We know we have top tier like you guys, right? We also have top tier around the world, such as Box Mining, Ivan on Tech, Mr. Beast. Like there's going to be a general plan to get awareness through all their channels as well. And not only that, right? Because the KOL work that we've been doing, we have maybe dozens of communities on Telegram or through our KOLs that we've already started to spread the Standard word. And this will be an ongoing process as the system develops. So, it's a lot of working machines in play, that's for sure.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and also I can add some answers to these questions for I lead some like these marketing and operations side of the world. So basically, I think there's several good news we have like being on board, but we didn't want to release it now. For example, like we have reached a very solid partnership with one of the biggest Korean bank, Real Bank. And we want them to deploy their decentralized application on our Standard Protocol. Yeah, which means, just imagine that we are not only want to penetrate into all the crypto world, but also the real world. Link with CeFi and DeFi. Just imagine that. Like one day through that Korean bank, maybe afterwards like the Africa bank, if you want to deposit your fiat money into the bank, and via this bridge, we send protocol with this bank, and you can let your fiat money become our stable coin and transfer to everywhere, all over the world. And also, you can like stick your asset, maybe like some of your like your private fund or some like even stocks, and even like some index funds, such like Samsung stocks or like Tesla stocks into these, and then become our synthetic assets in our Standard Protocol, and use that for the collateral to gain our meter, our stable coin, and use it everywhere. So that's the thing that help us to penetrate into the real world and get more fans in our community. That's the thing. And I think we have like got the first step on that, a very solid step on that. So that's, I think, very popular and perfect.
Okay, nice. That's quite an interesting one. So Dave, You can pick the next question again, or should I go first?
Go first. I'll go next.
Okay, so I'm scrolling through as well, seeing some couple of questions. Now, I want to come from the angle of growth. Somebody called Obina asked the question around what is the growth plan for Standard Protocol? How do you guys attract developers? These questions coming from, because actually Africa right now is already beginning to show great interest from developers locally. So I want to wear a situation that African developers can also be part of an amazing project like Standard Protocol. So how do you guys attract developers so that we don't just have people who are building projects that products that will be used on a global scale, and we have few or no African developer on it. So I really want how you guys attracting developers into the project.
Is Billy still on?
Yeah, Billy is here.
Billy probably would be best equipped to answer that, but if not,
okay.
Tony probably. What do you think is best?
Yeah, so sure. Yeah, I think as Billy is our co-developer and Khan is not here, so yeah, let me answer this question. So we do have our plans to recruit more genius developer all over the world. You know, like crypto is a decentralized base, so we can have all the developers work remote and like help us based on the code base or something. So the thing is, I think we set some parts of the team tokens for the co-developers. And if you're really interested in our Standard Protocol and you have very great genius insight about our product or DeFi area, you can come to us, come to join us, the developer community. And if you can pass our interview, I think our founder, Mr. Khan, is a very kind of nerd guy. He I think he's only nerdy, yeah. One of 30 programmers, like only one of 30 programmers interviewee passed his test, and be involved in our team. So we are very strict on that. But if you can join, we can give you a really good team token as a bonus. And afterwards, you will see what will happen. And yeah, very good future.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So I'm here. So to just further explain, it'll be better if you have a solid GitHub profile, because that's what Cam really likes. He in order for developers to be able to know that you have the knowledge, it's the best way to present your stuff is through GitHub. The resume is still good, but GitHub is preferred over resume. And because we definitely need to see that you are qualified as a developer.
Oh, nice. Okay, so to our audience within the African community, Standard Protocol, of course, wants a global presence across all boards. So whether you're a developer within the African community, the right thing for us to do if you're a developer right now is try and make something out through your GitHub. Of course, we want to see what you've been doing over time in GitHub. That way, it will be easy for you to become part of the project from the developer angle. I think that would really be a great opportunity for those who are developers. And if you're not a developer, I think you should begin to show interest into trying to build something, just trying to learn how to become a developer. Hopefully, you would be able to become one of those sought out person out there from Standard Protocol. Now, so David, before we go further, I would allow David to pick a question. Marsh and Tony, I don't know if you can see the questions from your end, so you can pick randomly, because I also want you to be part of somebody who would help pick one random question and probably answer it. And that way it helps us to have a much more fair or even balance between choice of people that have been selected. So David, just one more, then Marsh and Tony, just get ready to pick one random questions from the group to answer, please.
Got it.
All right. There's a question here. So somebody's asking, you mentioned Polkadot. Is your project looking to integrate Standard Protocol to other ecosystems?
Definitely. Yeah, so we do have the plan, not only for Polka ecosystem, but of course, I think next month we will plan to first integrate into the Kusama or Rococo, these cross-chain projects. And like Polkadot have the parachain auction, and maybe it happened in July, maybe August or something. We will also apply for that. But also, we will be integrating into BSC on this ecosystem. I think our plan is in June, I think, or July. And also we will like try for other ecosystems. So we not only based in one single ecosystem, but we will be like whole ecosystem and whole blueprint. Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Cool. That's a great one. And okay, so Dave, please try and note the person's identity.
Yeah.
So Tony, can you pick the first the question at least from the group? So the lucky person gets $100.
Or Marshall do that? Yeah, I'm trying to pick up someone.
Yeah, I'll pick a question first. I see Eunice Mwangi. She says, please clarify on the liquidity. You know, I've used that word a few times in today's dialogue. And what I mean by that is, of course, number one, the DeFi and community liquidity because of your guys' participation in the token, where you guys are participating as validators potentially, right? Where you guys are LPing and like utilizing the ecosystem or minting it. That's all forms of liquidity. What I mean by higher level liquidity, I guess, on top of community would maybe be like exchange liquidity. You know, exchanges themselves are like, okay, we want to be participating in the ecosystem as well. As mentioned, you see that with Binance, they provide a lot of liquidity to BSC projects. And, you know, we hope the same for all these exchanges that support Standard token and for a matter of fact, Standard's entire ecosystem. So that's what I mean by liquidity.
Oh, interesting. So those of you who are worried around that part, I believe that question is clear. And to the lucky person called, you said is Eunice Mwangi, right?
Yep, I will screenshot this.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah. So Luis Mwangi, congratulations. You're also one of the lucky persons. So Tony, have you picked a question?
Yeah, I think I picked this Jeremiah Chong, who put forward these questions in like 20 minutes ago. Like
okay,
yes.
Maybe I probably need to. I'll need you to send me the screenshot as well.
Yeah. Screenshot. So let me read these questions. He told like apply for Standard Protocol whitelist but failed to get shortlisted. Hope we will give us second chance or we wait till listing. I think thanks for your support but yeah, unfortunately you cannot get whitelisted, but you are lucky here and I will pick you up and give you this bonus. So the thing is, like, I think all of you guys, do not be hesitated to participate in. Although our IDO like will be done tomorrow, right? But you know, it's less than 1% to get whitelisted. So do not like to be angry or like some disappointment about that. But afterwards, we will still be listed on Git.io and KuCoin. These two exchanges tomorrow. Exactly when we do everything done, like after IDO. So Git.io and KuCoin will be co-listing. And afterwards, in next week, we will be like probably be listed on some Korean exchanges in the next few weeks. So it's still some possibility you can buy it in the exchange. And also, I think we will do step by step on Chinese exchanges and also like Mr. Lucky recommended a good African exchange to me, and we are trying to be listed on. So yeah, please stay tuned, and like we will do best whatever we can, and we'll be listed on as much as possible the exchanges that we can. This is the thing.
Okay, so Dave, have you picked one more question? So I know everybody wants to be picked in this process. Quite a lot of questions actually I'm seeing in the group. Dave.
All right, yeah, I'm scrolling a few questions here. Just in the mid, I think you can still pick. I think Marsh or Tony can still pick.
Okay, so let me pick one more question to a random person here. It says, apart from Polkadot, which other, okay, I think you answered a bit of that if I'm not mistaken. Apart from Polkadot, which other exchange do you get? Because you know, the chances of some person participating in the IDO now, it's not as open for everybody, but I know there are other opportunities out there for them to really still come into play, either getting it on the exchange or something like that. Apart from Polkadot, which other DEX do you guys want to use to list?
DEX.
DEX, decentralized exchange, something like Uniswap kind of.
It definitely will be listed on Uniswap. Yeah, right after our IDO. And for some other parts, you know, I think you want me to answer the question about Pancake. You know, it's like the most famous DEX in Binance. So, but by now we do not have such a plan. But maybe afterwards, after we integrate into the BSC ecosystem, I think we will have such a plan. And for other DEX, I'm not pretty sure about that, but I think Uniswap is enough. Or it has the 90% of the traffic of all Ethereum, right? Yeah, so that's the thing. I think mainly we will be listed on more sets. Yeah, step by step.
Okay, nice. So what it means is for those Africans who, or for those of us within the African community that really want to participate or own a bit of standard protocol token, we also have a chance of being able to get it through a DEX platform like Uniswap. And so that makes it a bit easy for those who actually want to try. So that question was from actually Marcoy Sherwood. Okay, so Dave, are you good? I hope we've not exhausted the number, else we'll be owing an extra $100 from our pocket.
Yeah, I actually want to be sure that we haven't gone overboard. Let me just, I hope Mish will let me know. But in the meantime, let me just speak this. It's sort of a technical question. So what Chase is asking, how does the Moonbeam architecture work on the standard protocol 2 network?
I think it's better for Billy to answer.
What was the question again?
Read the question again, Dave, please.
So the question is, how does the Moonbeam architecture work on the standard protocol network?
Moonbeam. Billy, are you here? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but we would need, I don't think we have any.
Yeah, we don't have any information on Moonbeam. I don't think.
Hey, this is Charlie, the head advisor from Standard. For Moonbeam, the conversation hasn't really I think that we have much better understanding about Plasm because the fact that Yongsung has been the core dev in Plasm for almost over 2 years. And we have very strong collaboration partnership with Patrick Labs as well. It's another WebAssembly-based smart contract parachain infrastructure based in Polkadot. We actually just announced the partnership with Patrick Labs. It's a very strong smart contract engineering team. We haven't really started the conversation with Moonbeam team yet, but I believe Derek Pure Stake team is also very active in the space. So yeah, we're more than happy to explore the collaboration. But I think for now, to your question, we haven't really have clear plan with Moonbeam integration yet. We understand Moonbeam has been active, especially with the EVM compatible DeFi smart contract infrastructure. I think it will be very exciting to explore that. But I think for the time being, Plasm and Patrick Labs is a much closer partner right now. Hope that answers your question.
No, nice.
Charlie's our head advisor.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, nice. Hi, and good to have you here as well. I don't know. Sometimes it's like Oliver Twist. We always want more. Originally, it was meant to be for 10 persons. That is meant to pick up. That is meant to get $100. It should make it $1,000. If we ask for 3 more, will that be one too many to ask?
Yeah, it's actually just 3 more to go. 3 more questions.
All right. I'm actually, okay, I was actually counting already. I have Clifford, Amina, Ogule, Dave, you picked one question. Obina, Dave, you picked another question. Then Marsh picked a question. Tony picked a question. Jared Marquish's question just was concluded. Then you picked a question now, which was around the Moonbeam. So I was thinking, is it up to 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's almost 10. So I'm asking the standard protocol team. If we ask for 3 more, would that be one too many to ask? Originally, it was 10 lucky people, right?
Yeah, so, 10.
Yeah, so if we ask for 3 more, would that be one too many for us to ask?
I think we have asked like 9 questions, right? 9.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Okay. So there will be the last one for 10.
Okay, so we won an extra because I'm seeing a lot of questions that are yet to be touched, and we're like, how do we make it even?
Sure, let's do it. We love it. Yeah.
All right, nice. So we'll pick 3 more from random people. And I think I really want to pick more from the East African side so that those who really would also be part of the next one by 4 o'clock Nigerian time can participate later. So I will just pick a bit random as well, just as I was doing. Dave, just one more, then I'll pick. So what I'm going to do is, out of these 3 people, I will go to the earliest of people that ask questions, because those who came early should benefit. That's the essence of why you come early for meetings, right? So out of the 3 questions, I'm going to go back to the earliest of people and ask from them. Then Dave, just pick one more so that I would call it a wrap, because it's already almost time.
All right. There's an interesting question here. It's possibly from a developer or something. So they're asking, during the development, during the roadmap development for standard protocol, what were the challenges that you've faced, building the protocol?
I think, I can't really answer that from a technical standpoint. I'm sure Billy could maybe.
I was thinking actually.
Yeah, I will elaborate. I will elaborate on the technical difficulties. The biggest technical difficulty when we were building the protocol is that there was a major upgrade from version 2 to version 3 of substrate nodes supported by Polkadot. So we had to do. We were initially building on version 2, and then the upgrade suddenly happened, and everything started breaking because version 2 was not compatible with version 3. So that was a major hurdle that we had to get by. And also the other one is that Polkadot JS API is, to be honest, it's very complicated. So we did have some hard time integrating that to our app that is upcoming. But we've successfully managed to do it, and it's good now.
Oh, interesting. So I guess that also gave the people the opportunity to also understand a bit of the technical challenge, or a bit of the challenge you guys did face before getting to this success point. And I of course, I look forward to that. So before I will pick the remaining 2 questions, I am using this opportunity again to talk to the entire African community. First of all, these AMAs organized by Standard Protocol. Standard Protocol became the first project out there within the ecosystem that is introducing 3 token model for one project. Apart from that, Standard Protocol will be having their IDO tomorrow, 29th, which is 1 UTC, if I'm correct, right? What time?
It is 1 UTC, 1 p.m. UTC.
1 p.m. UTC. So tomorrow, 1 p.m. UTC, Standard Protocol will be holding its IDO. You can participate in it. And for those who actually might miss out, Uniswap is like a very easy place for you to also get the Standard Protocol right now. And that aside, I also want to let us know that going forward, we'll be creating an African community for Standard Protocol. That way we'll have the chance of getting to know all the details, because we're looking at long-term plan for Africa, how to partner and cooperate with other African players. And thanks to Dave, who also have assisted me in the process of getting to get all this out there. We'll be putting out our social media handles later on. Try and follow Standard Protocol in the Telegram communities. On Twitter, it is known as Standard DeFi, right? At Standard DeFi, that's what it's known for. If you want to follow me on my Twitter handle, it's at LUO2027. Some people ask me if I'm Chinese. Why am I called Luo? All right. So while aside that, you can also follow Bitcoin KE on the various social media platforms. So to all our people, especially within the Kenyan axis, I really appreciate you guys for making our time to come out for this particular one on a very short notice. I would like to say asante to the people within the East African axis, but I think there are other opportunities for us to still win when we join the next AMA, which will be holding 4 p.m. Nigerian time, which is 6 o'clock Kenyan time, depending on the time zone you want to convert it with. And I really appreciate Billy, Tony, Marsh, and sorry, I didn't get the name of the other person that came in later.
Charlie.
So Charlie, and to Khan, actually, Khan have been a great guy. Chatting with him this past short period of time have really been great, and it's super, super busy. For those of us who also want to participate, Tony's prediction for standard token is that it's going to do 100x, 50x. So my prediction is at least a minimum of 10x and above. So if it is 10x and above, technically what it means is that the least $100 will become $1,000, and the least $1,000 could become $10,000. And if it's 100x, it's like the least $100 could become $10,000 worth. And I believe they explain the process of how people can become validators. Getting now at when it's too cheaper, participate. But remember, if you must validate, you must be ready to share your identity, because we want to know who the good players and the bad players are. And for the very first time in the whole history of humanity, we're seeing a 3-token system within the ecosystem of blockchain. And that's really great for the world. So I really appreciate the entire team. And again, please try and follow Bitcoin KE. I've already shared my Twitter handle at LUO2027 on LinkedIn. My name is Lucky Wakwe, as seen on the title on Zoom right now. And I really appreciate everybody. We will be creating the Telegram communities for Standard Protocol for Africa, so you all can participate there. There'll be more giveaways, more opportunities for us to win. And I really, really, really do appreciate that we become part of this and see how best we can push forward with it. To all the developers or programmers or people who want to become part of it. Sometimes you might not be a developer or programmer, but be a good community manager, you can be appointed. So there's something for everyone, some way, somehow. And the earlier, the better for everybody. So thank you, guys. And David, if there's any last word, I wanted to say it now before I call it a wrap, because we've taken more than an hour for my own kind of liking.
I think for me, it's just to say thanks, guys. It's been great. I appreciate Mash, Tony, and the rest of the guys behind the scenes as well. I think this was great. And all the best, to the IDO.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys, for having us. We're so excited to be engaging your community.